There once was a master craftsman named Eli. Eli was known for creating intricate, beautiful sculptures. His workshop was filled with magnificent pieces of art, each carved with precision and care and admired by all. One day, Eli began working on what he believed was going to be his greatest masterpiece, a sculpture that would surpass anything that he had ever created before. He envisioned every detail, and for months, he chipped away at the marble, shaping it with intent and focus, all the while having the vision before him of what it would look like when it was completed. Every day, he worked tirelessly, following his carefully thought out design. But one morning, disaster struck. Eli was working on the final touches when a single misplaced strike of his chisel caused a deep crack down the side of the sculpture. His heart sank because the crack was unsalvageable. The perfect plan was now ruined. All those months are now wasted, and Eli sat back, frustrated, staring at the damaged piece of marble and questioning everything that he had done. How could I have let this happen? This was supposed to be my finest work. He considered abandoning the project altogether, feeling defeated by the setback. But the longer he sat there and looked at his failure, he began to see the crack differently. He then thought, what if instead of giving up, I found a way to incorporate this imperfection? Is it possible that the very flaw that I tried to avoid could actually make the piece more unique? Inspired by this new perspective, Eli picked up his chisel again. He didn't follow his original plan. Instead, this time he adapted to the situation that had presented itself. He began to carve out the crack, allowing the marble's natural flaw to guide him. As he worked, the sculpture began to transform into something completely different than what he had originally envisioned. Yet, it was something far more extraordinary than he had planned. When Eli finished, the sculpture was stunning in its own way. And you know what's funny? The people that came to see it didn't even notice the crack. As he told the story of the crack, people marveled at how the flaw had been turned into something beautiful. What once seemed like a mistake became the very thing that made the sculpture remarkable. We all have a vision for how our lives should unfold, meticulously planned steps and mapped out futures. But life often has its own plans. As the classic saying goes, if you want to make God laugh, tell him about your plans. We come up with the plan, and then we encounter unexpected challenges, twists, and detours that can shake our confidence and make us question whether we were on the right path in the first place. But today, I want to talk to you about something powerful: perspective. How we see the world, how we see the challenges we face, how we see the unexpected moments can shape us and transform our journey. Let's begin with an important question. How does your perspective shape the way you approach challenges? When you're faced with adversity, do you see it as a roadblock or do you see it as an opportunity? The way we interpret difficulties directly impacts how we respond to them. A person with a fixed mindset might see each obstacle as the end, something that prevents them from moving forward. But someone with a growth-oriented perspective understands that each failure or each setback is a stepping stone for growth. What if every setback was actually a setup for something greater? What if the obstacles aren't meant to stop us, but rather to push you and me towards a new opportunity? One of the things that I've learned in my life is sometimes God's promotion does not feel like a promotion. Come on, somebody. When life diverts us from the path that we planned, it might just be leading us to something even better, something that we couldn't have seen from our original perspective. The key here is recognizing that how we interpret the events in our lives are more important than the actual event itself. Two people can face the same challenge and yet have vastly different outcomes based on how they perceive the challenge. When we embrace a growth mindset, we begin to look for the lessons that are hidden within each difficulty. We stop playing victim. We stop asking, why is this happening to me? And we start looking in the mirror and saying, what can you learn from this? Think of life's detours not as failures, but as redirections. You might be taken off the path that you had originally planned, but that doesn't mean you're lost. God holds the GPS, and a lot of times, the alternate route is where your purpose is revealed. I might take my time in here today. Changing your perspective allows you to see that, yes, I'm facing this. Yes, this is not fun. Yes, this is uncomfortable, but this roadblock was never meant to stop me. It was meant to build. It was meant to reroute me to a possibility that I couldn't see for myself. Changing your perspective starts with reframing your awareness. It starts with having the presence of mind to ask yourself when faced with a difficult situation, how am I interpreting this? Am I seeing it through the lens of limitation, or am I seeing it through the lens of possibility? Myron Golden said, if you don't like what you're seeing, change the one who's seeing. Your perspective is what's key. It's not always about changing your situation, because sometimes you yourself cannot just change your situation. Sometimes you are going to have to sit in that until the character, until the abilities, until the patience is developed that allows you to now walk into your new opportunity. And sometimes it's not about changing your situation, but it's about changing the way you see it. Instead of saying, this is too hard, I can't do this, try saying, yes, this is a challenge, but this is an opportunity for me to get better. Yes, I feel like dirt is being piled on me, but dirt is required for the seed to grow. The words we choose to describe our experience shape how we perceive. By shifting the language we use, both in our thoughts and in our conversations, we can shift our perspectives to one of growth. What many do is they start with a vision, but when trouble happens, they abandon the vision. And I've come to tell you, don't abandon the dream. I know it's hard. Don't abandon the dream. Like Les Brown says, don't change your decision, but change your approach. When something isn't working, it doesn't necessarily mean you're on the wrong path. It might just mean that you need a new way to move forward. Here's the thing. Success and failure are subjective. What one person sees as a failure, another might just see as a stepping stone on the journey. It's all about how we reframe it. When you shift your perspective, you begin to see that failure isn't final, it's feedback. It's life showing you what doesn't work so you can get closer to what actually does. Success isn't about reaching a destination. It's about who we become in the process. When we view both success and failure through this lens, we stop fearing failure and start viewing it as an essential part of our success journey. There's an old quote that I love, and the quote says, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." All that matters is, do you have the courage to continue? Because when you view the situation as a failure, it's very easy to begin to spiral. It's easy to spiral into frustration, into sadness, or even into self-doubt. But if you see failure as feedback, if you see the same setback as necessary, your emotional reaction to your situation begins to change. And instead of feeling defeated, you have the courage to continue. The next time you face an unexpected outcome, I challenge you to try shifting your perspective. I challenge you to ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? And how can I use this to become stronger, to become better, to become more resilient? How can I use this to become more creative? Reframing situations take us from feeling stuck to feeling empowered. One simple strategy is to practice gratitude. Gratitude will never go out of style. When we focus on what's going on right in our lives, it becomes easier to navigate what's going wrong. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what is present. And that small shift in focus has a significant impact on our emotional state. Another strategy is to seek out the perspective of others. Talk to someone who's been through a similar challenge or someone who can offer a different viewpoint. A lot of times we get so caught up with our tunnel vision that we miss the bigger picture. It offers us new solutions and opens our mind up to a world that we had never even considered before. This is a tough one because we all want control in our lives. Control is an illusion. Life is unpredictable. If you could control everything in life, you would keep all bad stuff from ever happening to you or anyone that you loved. No matter how much we plan, and planning is important, but no matter how much we plan, things will change. For change is the only constant. But it's nothing to fear. It's something to lean into. It's something to embrace. True growth happens when we learn to balance our need for control with the acceptance that some things are out of our hands. The key is to focus on what you can control: your actions, your mindset, and your response. When you release the need to control every outcome, you open yourself up to possibilities that you couldn't have even imagined. It's not about giving up. It's about making a decision that I will no longer stress over this, because stressing is not making it better. And rather than freak out every morning when I wake up because things are not perfect, I am going to make a decision to trust process. We are always in process. And when we broaden our perspective, we become more empathetic. We begin to become less judgmental in life, and we realize that everyone is on their own unique journey with their own challenges and their own triumphs. This understanding fosters connection and allows us to embrace others with compassion. When it comes to relationships, perspective is the key to effective communication. When we can step out of our own view and consider how someone else might be thinking or feeling, we can communicate more openly, resolve conflict more peacefully, and build stronger, more meaningful connections. When we're open to seeing things from different angles, we become more creative, more adaptable, and more resourceful. Instead of feeling boxed in by one solution, we start to see that there are many ways to approach a problem. This flexibility not only allows us to become better problem solvers, but it also helps us make more thoughtful, informed decisions. Perspective is what allows us to hold on to hope, even when the road gets tough. It reminds us that life isn't linear and that sometimes the detours are the most important parts of our journey. When you trust the process, you're not giving up control. You're acknowledging that life is unfolding in ways that you can't always predict. But that doesn't mean it's going wrong. It means it's going different. And different isn't bad. It's just unexpected. As you go through life, remember that your perspective is your greatest tool. It shapes how you interpret success, failure, challenges, and opportunities. It influences your emotional response and your ability to adapt. By trusting the process and maintaining a growth-oriented perspective, you open yourself up to possibilities far beyond what you could have originally imagined. Change your perspective. Change your world. If you enjoyed this video, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Like and subscribe to this channel. The like tells YouTube, hey, send me more mission growth videos. And the subscribe says, hey, Aaron, keep making the mission growth videos. Always remember that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the